are live. Congratulations. Welcome back. This is the third video for week 3 of our GBS English class. And I know you're ready and excited to go back and have more fun. Today, we're going to talk about I've never had Thai food. We're going to talk about one of my favorite topics. Oh, food, food. I love food. Yes, it is one of the best things around. And when you see me in class, you will be able to say, yes, he likes food. Yes, I do like food a lot, and I am a food lover. I really enjoy going out there and having a good meal at different times. So we're going to talk about I've never had Thai food, and we're going to talk about conditional futures and have some fun. This is probably going to be the most interesting part of food. So let's get started without further ado. Now, we all like food and we all have different preferences. Now, living here in South Korea, you get Korean food everywhere. And sometimes you may say, you know what, I want something a little bit different. I want some fusion food, or I want something different. So let's start. Where would you actually like to have food from? Now, here around the university, you can find some of these foods here pretty easily. Some are a little bit more difficult. For example, eating some Mexican food around the university is actually pretty easy. There's 2 places that make burritos, or there used to be 2 places. It's only down to 1 now. But they make burritos. They're not exactly what I would say Mexican style. They are still a fusion food, but they are based on a Mexican food. We also get, there's a couple of places around here to get Japanese style food. There's a Vietnamese restaurant, and SoonChunHyang right now has a huge number of places that have Russian food. So there are lots of places you can go. Now, different types of food have different spices, different tastes. Go out, try them. Don't be afraid to try something. Take your friends with you and have some good time, because you never know. You might find something you really, really like.
No, no, no!
Yes, go out, try it.
Yes.
Absolutely, go out and try it. Speaking of food to go and try, in Pyeongtaek, if you're ever in that area, there are 2 Brazilian restaurants, and they're Brazilian, I call them a Brazilian barbecue for lack of a better word, but they are both very good. And you go there, trust me, if you go there and you walk away hungry, that was your fault that you walked away hungry. They keep bringing you more and more food until you tell them, please stop, no more food. It's great. So go find some different foods. Now, we do use the descriptive words for the nationalities of where the foods come from. The food is from America. It is American. The food is from China. It is Chinese. Where food is from Italy. Italy, America, China, these are the countries' names. We can say where the food is from, but when we talk about adjective, it's American food. It is Korean food. It's Vietnamese food. So we end different endings. Usually an and e's are the biggest endings of the word. There are some that are a little bit different, and we'll talk about those another time. For example, somebody from Thailand just becomes Thai. There are other ones like Turkish and English that have the ish ending. So those 3 endings, ish, and e's, most of the countries follow that rule. Be careful with that. So think about that. You're going to be describing a picture of food. This will be something we're going to ask you to bring a picture of food to class and you describe it to the other people and have them identify what it is. All right, so now we're going to listen to a conversation. This is between Laurie and Kent, and they're going to try to decide what kind of food they want to eat. Now, it's always a hard time asking somebody, hey, what do you want to eat? So let's find out what these 2 people are interested in eating for dinner.
Hi, Lori. I'm getting hungry.
Hey, Kent. Me too.
Have you ever tried Mexican food? I know a great place.
No, I haven't. But I think I want Asian food.
Okay, how about Thai?
I've never had Thai food.
It's my favorite. The noodle dishes are amazing.
Do you have a place in mind?
There's a place called Thai-rific.
Okay, I'll meet you there.
All right, so we're gonna go out and try some Thai food. Now, I lived in Thailand for a month while I was getting my CELTA, and I still love Thai food. You have to be careful. Some of the Thai food can become very spicy, but once you get used to the spice, it's absolutely delicious. Um, but we have good food in Korea. One of the nice things about living in South Korea is that you have access to a lot of different cultures' food, especially if you live in Seoul. As soon as the COVID pandemic releases a little bit more, go out and explore some of those restaurants. Some of them are not that expensive. Some of them are actually pretty reasonably priced. And you can go and try food from different countries. One of the good things about living near a major city. Now, in Busan, there's not as many of them as there are in Seoul, but I do know there are some good restaurants there as well for different foods from around the world. Now, when you work with a pair later on, when we're working in class, we're going to work about different kinds of food. So, have you ever had French food? Have you ever had Italian food? Now, I know Italian food, oh, that's easy. I've had pasta, I've had spaghetti, I've had Italian food. Yes and no. A lot of the food that we actually serve and have is not authentic food. It is changed a little bit. I'll give you a perfect example. Let's talk about jajangmyeon and I can't even think of what it's called right now. I know it is in English. It's sweet and sour pork. Um, anyway, you go to a Chinese restaurant here in Korea, and you're gonna order jajangmyeon. Now, jajangmyeon is noodles with black sauce, and they do have this when you go to China, but sometimes it's a little bit different. Getting real Chinese food, when the international students hold their international festival, go try some of their real Chinese food because they actually cook Chinese style food. And it can be a little bit greasier, but it can taste a little bit different as well. And it's something that once you've had real food, having the mixed food is a little bit different. Even when we talked about burritos just a few minutes ago, they are burritos originally came from Mexico, but burritos are actually more of a Tex-Mex food than a real authentic Mexican food. But we still call it Mexican food because that's where it came from. And spaghetti, pizza, we think of them as Italian foods, but real Italian pizza tastes a little bit different from what you're probably used to, but still tastes very, very good. All right. Now, when we're asking about experiences, we're going to be using have you ever. Now, this is a conditional future or conditional question. So, have you ever had Mexican food? Have you ever tried something? Now, one of my philosophies in life is try everything once. You can try something and just say, you know what? I wish I hadn't tried that. Try it. You may find something that you like or something that you don't like. Give it a try. Here in Korea, I have tried bondegi God knows how many times. Oh, bondegi, the little silkworms. Oh, it's one of the foods that as you're walking along, you will smell it before you see it. And I can always tell whenever I'm walking around, I can smell, oh, there's bondegi somewhere around here. You can smell it being cooked. But I keep trying it. Every time that we go out, I will give it a try one time, and it's like, oh, do you like it this time? No, not very much. But that's where I have discovered here in Korea that there's not many foods here that I don't like. I like almost everything that's here in Korea. There are a few exceptions. There are three that stick out in my mind other than bondegi. I've tried bondegi. If I had to eat it to live, I could live on bondegi. I wouldn't enjoy it. I would probably lose weight very quickly, but I could eat it. But there are three things that I'm not able to physically eat. One is the Korean blue crab. I have an allergy to it. Surprising. I love crab. I love lobster, shrimp. I love shellfish. But the Korean blue crab, specifically the raw crab in soy sauce, I cannot eat it. I tried it and I ended up almost in the hospital because of that. The other thing I can't eat, miak. I like I like the soup, but the miak itself, and it has nothing to do with the soup itself. For me personally, the miak, it's the texture. I can't. It's like homo. It's like when, like if you had a bad cold and got snot in your mouth. And then hongo, the raw fish that smells strongly of ammonia. No, thank you. All right, but other foods, go out and try it. Try everything once. You never know when you might find something that you all of a sudden fall in love with, and it's like, oh my, I love this. This is absolutely amazing. I've fallen in love with many foods, and just from I'll try it. I'll give it a try. See what it's like. Now we're going to listen to four people, and they're going to describe their different experiences with food, and try to label them as to one, two, three, four as the order that you hear them. Now, for those that are looking, the pictures, I can tell you what three of the pictures are. The picture one is most likely okra. The second one is probably some kind of sushi roll or catfish. C looks like blue cheese or another kind of stinky cheese maybe. And the last one is a fig, and that's the last one. So let's listen and find out.
Number 1.
I've had this several times, but it's not easy to get fresh. I've often had it as juice. The first time I tried it, I didn't know what to expect. It was very sour. I've only tried sweet fruit, but I really liked it. I would recommend this to anyone.
Number 2. I love most types of seafood, but this one? I'm not so sure. Well, I know it's popular, but I'm not sure why. I just remember it was expensive, and it looked dangerous. When I tasted it, I just remember thinking, it's so salty. I like salty food, but not this. Oh, and it's raw. Have you ever had it? Number 3.
I tried this once in the United States. It's popular in the South. It's a vegetable that not a lot of people know or like. It's in dishes like gumbo, and I hear that it is delicious. I've never tried gumbo. I just had this vegetable fried. It was really bland. I didn't like the texture at all.
Number 4.
This is one of my favorite foods. I tried it the first time when I was 8 years old. I remember the taste was really strong, but I guess I like strong flavors because I eat this all the time. I like it in salads, on crackers, and with fruit.
Right. So yes, as I said, the four things that are there. You got okra. Okra is the first vegetable, and yes, it is a lot of southern foods. You do find it in gumbo, and if you ever get a chance to go to Louisiana and get some good gumbo and achapalaya and foods there, oh, you'll fall in love with it. It can be a little spicy, but it's also very, very good. The fish that they're describing is raw, but the picture here actually looks more like it's fried catfish. Fried catfish, some people love it. Growing up in Texas and around the Louisiana area, Lots of people love, absolutely love fried catfish. But I've always found catfish is a very bland fish. Maybe that's why people like it. They just like the taste of the fry on the outside. The blue cheese, yes, you can have it in salad. It's not one that you either like blue cheese or you don't like blue cheese. It's got a very strong, very unique taste. And the figs, I like figs. I prefer dried figs to fresh figs. It's been a long time since I've had fresh figs, and she's right. Figs that are dry or that are fresh can be very tart. They're not a very sweet fruit. But just listen to how they describe the fruits. Go back, watch the video again, and figure out how they put it in here. Then we'll talk in class about how to describe foods and how you would describe and get me to try one of your favorite foods. And speaking with confidence, now we're talking about things that you've done. We want to know about eaten, drunk, or been to. Have you ever eaten some food? Have you ever eaten live octopus? Have you ever eaten durian? Have you ever drunk beer? Have you ever drunk soju? Have you ever drunk hard alcohol? This is where you can learn about different things. When it's eaten, it's something that you're going to masticate. Masticate means to chew. And so you're going to have to chew it. And after you chew it, you swallow it. Drink usually is almost a pure liquid. And so you won't have to chew it. Sometimes you might, especially if you got like bubble tea or something like that, and you got little chewy things in it. But for the most part, you're just going to drink it and take it right down to your throat. Been to, now this is where you're going to suggest restaurants that are very good that you've been to. There are several restaurants that I've been to that I would be glad to give you recommendations for all around Korea. Some of them are amazing. One of the things that my wife does, she writes a blog and reviews a lot of restaurants. And I can count on one hand the number of restaurants that we've gone to that have not been very good. But the number of restaurants that we've gone to that have been excellent, oh, I don't have enough hands, fingers, toes to count all those wonderful restaurants. So we'll talk about this more in class, but we're going to talk about eating. Have you ever eaten live octopus? Have you ever eaten raw shrimp? Have you ever had fugu? If you don't know what fugu is, take a look. Have you ever had it? I want to, but I haven't had a chance yet. All right. So that's our food intoxication. Oh my, so much delicious food. But now, of course, we have to move on and talk about it's coming. We know it's coming.
6 hours later.
Homework time. So let's go in and look at the homework. Now, look at the countries. Gonna have to go back to that first part of the unit. Match up the country word with the cuisine name or the adjective that goes with it. These are the country names. These are the nouns. The United States, China, Morocco, Korea, United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru. Okay, that's for another story. But match the word with it. So the United States, American food. Turkey, Turkish food. India, Indian food. Match the food and the cuisine. Then think about foods from the first section and try to put them where they would come from. Which foods come from Africa? Which are from Asia, Europe, North America, South America? Try to put the cuisines to their different countries. You'll be surprised. You probably had foods from all 5 of these continents. You could probably also add Australia to here, but that wasn't mentioned in the other part of the unit. So we'll leave that one off for right now. Then I want you to complete the conversation for you. What's the most unusual food that you have ever had? Oh. Nakji is on the list of most unusual foods I've ever had. I have had other things that have been unusual. For example, when I was in Thailand, I had fried spider. Also very delicious, very good. While I was in Thailand, I also ate durian. Durian is a very good fruit. As soon as you can get past the smell, it's really, really tasty. Some other foods that I've had that are really, really unusual. I've eaten buffalo, rabbit. I've eaten snake, mm, alligator, many different fish, deer, goat. I've eaten a lot of different animals, and I have to say, I haven't found one that I haven't enjoyed. And where did you have it? I've traveled around the world, so I've eaten food in many different places. And drinks. If you ever get a chance to go to Taiwan, Taiwan is an amazing place. I've been to Taiwan once. In Taipei, there's a place called Snake Alley. And in Snake Alley, you can go there and drink different alcohols with different parts of the snake added into the alcohol. And not to describe all the different ones, but some of them are really tasty, and some of them are like, no, thank you. But it is a good one to go and try some different things to taste. I think the most unusual thing I've ever drunk was guava. No, it's not guava. It's when I was in New Zealand. I can't remember what it was. It was a drink, but it was a traditional alcoholic drink, and tasted it, and it's got a very unique taste. I can't remember the name of it, but it has a very unique taste. And once you've tasted it, nothing else tastes like it. All right, now food and emotions. Now, food, everybody has different foods that they associate with different feelings, and some foods bring on stronger feelings than others. So I'm going to read this so that you can get a chance to enjoy it and answer the questions. Foods and emotions. My favorite snack is chocolate-covered pretzels. I like the sweetness of the chocolate, but I also like something salty. I also like jelly on my potato chips, and I recently studied my favorite snacks to tell about my personality. Salty food. Some people want to eat salty food all the time. They are usually people who go with the flow. These people don't need to control things all the time. Chocolate. Chocolate makes people feel good. People who like dark chocolate are more outgoing and love a party. But those who like milk chocolate are shyer and may want to stay home and read a book. Spicy food. Spicy food like Mexican or Thai makes our hearts go faster and makes us sweat. So people want spicy food like excitement. They don't like to waste time. Sweet food. If you like sweet food, you like pleasure. You want to reward yourself and feel good. Sweet and salty. These people like to mix things up. They're creative and playful, but may be private. And that describes me. What kinds of food do you like the most? You'd be surprised how much mixing up the food taste is important. Watch Ratatouille, and he tries to explain how sometimes different food combinations make different feelings and emotions. For those of you who don't like coffee very much, and you say, "Oh, coffee is so bitter," if you've got coffee that's very, very, very bitter, here's a little tip: put a little pinch of salt into the coffee. Now you may say, "Salt in my coffee? Are you serious?" It'll take away the bitterness. When you drink something or eat something, this is anatomy. This is not part of the lesson. This is just extra information. Our body processes the strongest taste first. So if something is spicy, that's the first thing that's going to be registered. But if you have something that's sweet and spicy, neither one of those can be dominant, and you can eat something that's even spicier than normal because the sweet is also saying, "Oh no, this is good." And the spicy, sweet, spicy, sweet. You can still enjoy it. Same thing goes when you're mixing the flavors and tastes. This is why a lot of people add sugar to coffee. The sweet mixes with the bitter and takes away some of the bitter. course, if you add too much sugar, all you get is the sweet taste, not the bitter. You want to try and get a balance. A little sweet, a little salty, a little spicy, a little sour, a little salty, a little bland. You want to mix it so that it's got a good balance. Trust me, the balance tastes better than one extreme. Then go and match the food to the personality type. What kind of food do these people say belongs to the different types of personality? When you come to class, we're going to talk about different kinds of foods that you like. You're going to try to describe it. Give us an example. If we have time, we may even do a food tasting in class. I don't know if we'll have time for it yet. Probably not until after the holiday coming up, but we'll try to do something like that. We'll try to read descriptions and describe the different foods. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to end our discussion this week about food and lesson 5 in our book. We're going to talk about more about it in class, and we're going to have some fun with these and activities. We're coming up to the Chuseok holiday, so we're going to have some fun there, and we're going to set up a small party after Chuseok, just so that we can enjoy those foods and tastes that we all want. Thank you all very much. I hope you have a great and wonderful time. See you in class.